be read a second time. I call the member for Balmain.
Thank you very much, Mr Temporary Speaker. I rise on behalf of the Greens to address the Civil and Administrative Tribunal Bills 2012. We support this bill. We recognise a great deal of effort has gone into the development of this bill, and I wanted to take just a few moments to make a few comments. First of all, I wanted to acknowledge the fact that the Attorney-General recognised the late Honourable Jeff Shaw QC, who was a man in my electorate with a record of supporting people in the community at all levels, and I think that his reputation in terms of his commitment to justice and equality is something which is to be recognised in his credit. It was, of course, something which he recognised in terms of the proliferation of tribunals, and the Attorney-General I see here and his staff, obviously, and the staff of the department have worked very hard to make this happen. If you look at the list of tribunals which have been consolidated, it's one of the most incredible lists I think many of us have seen. Everything from the Chinese Medicine Tribunal of New South Wales to the Dental Tribunal to the Optometry Tribunal, the Pharmacy Tribunal, Podiatry. There's a whole range of different tribunals which have been included. And it's a credit also, I might say, to the committee that was involved in this. And I just wanted to, in addressing this bill, recognise that the Law and Justice Committee recommended in its final report opportunities to consolidate tribunals in New South Wales, end quote, 22nd of March 2012, a range of different principles. There was a dissenting report. I note that. I've discussed it with David Shoebridge and MLC, who issued the dissenting report, but the issues raised in that report, I think, have been resolved. The bill doesn't provide any substantive changes to the existing administrative appeal rights, but the Attorney-General has identified that changes will be pursued in a subsequent bill. I would look forward to that. Those detailed provisions need to be inserted in the tribunals to establish the appeal structure, the clear process, and of course a specific commitment to equitable justice for all citizens in New South Wales. And as we heard from other members, that in particular goes for members in rural people in rural and regional areas. I just wanted to identify a few of the points that were identified by that committee. One of them is the consolidation of tribunals must ensure improved access to justice in conjunction with improved efficiencies, particularly in regional areas. And that is a very important point. Obviously, as a member for Balmain, in an inner-city location very close to the CBD, access is something which is relatively easy. But I note that this has been something identified by the Law and Justice Committee, which is very important. Another point, of course, is adequate resources must be allocated, and this is a question which I'd appreciate if the Minister could address in his reply, that the government can assure this House that the resources allocated to this tribunal will be sufficient for them to carry out all of their activities in an efficient and effective way. There may also be some savings as a result of this process, obviously, and that's something as well that would be appreciated to be informed about. The lessons for the other jurisdictions, of course, needs to be considered, as the committee pointed out. And finally, the nature of the jurisdiction of existing tribunals and whether it's appropriate that their functions be exercised within a broader tribunal, of course, has been considered. I just wanted to make one other point, which is about the consolidation of the Industrial Relations Commission. That was a point of some discussion. There was a dissenting report about that matter. The Greens, we had serious reservations about proposals to abolish the IRC and move its jurisdiction to the NCAT, but this matter, it seems, has been resolved. This is a positive step, I think. It's clear that a lot of work has been done. The government will be much better off focusing on issues like this than trying to get recreational shooters into national parks or trying to cut the education budget.
You were going so well. You were going well.
I didn't want to give you a false sense of security, you see. But there does need to be an acknowledgement that this is a difficult task. And all ministers knows, and as someone who has been involved even just at the level of a mayor in an organisation, to try and turn things around is not easy. So I did want to take the time to acknowledge the efforts of all of those who have helped make this happen. I trust that the bill which is being proposed, I understand that there will be further matters to be discussed and a further bill. I know that the government signalled their intention to introduce a bill which would manage obviously this abolition in the future. The consultation process about implementation, appeal mechanisms and so on is very important. So I'd like to finish by acknowledging all those that have made a contribution to it. I trust it will work effectively because I'm sure every single member in this House will have people coming to them who will be appealing to this body, wanting our support, and it's important that we get it right at the outset. Thank you.
Thank the member for Balmain.